Kiki's delivery service always makes me cry. Throughout the entire movie, I catch myself feeling. No matter how many times I rewatch it, a wave of emotions crash over me again and again. From the beautifully drawn seaside landscape of Kuriko, to Miyazaki's incredible directing and storytelling, Kiki's delivery service will forever hold a firm grip over my day-to-day life. But this video isn't about recapping the story or singing the praises of its creator. We will save that for another video. This video is about how Kiki's delivery service perfectly encapsulates the struggle of finding your way in a chaotic and sometimes cold, modern world. Kiki is constantly struggling with trying to find her place in the world. She feels like an outcast. She is surrounded by people, but feels alone. When she looks out at the world around her, she sees nothing but beauty. This hurts her, because more often than not, Kiki feels ugly. Her self-image makes her feel unworthy of people's time or admiration. When she feels ugly, she feels undeserving of a place in Kuriko. She feels this way because the modern world doesn't promote contentment with one's true self. It promotes perfectionism. Perfect clothes, perfect bodies, perfect jobs, perfect relationships, perfect personalities with perfect homes, and perfect luxuries. We all struggle with wanting to fit into the societal norm, but also staying true to ourselves. We all want the things Kiki wants. Today, we are more connected than ever before. It is within this constant connection that we see everyone and everything all the time. We try to mold ourselves around this image of what we believe the world wants us to be. This more often than not doesn't bode well for our self-image or self-worth. When we spend our time trying to measure up to everyone else, we leave very little time to explore who we are. A majority of us struggle with feelings of doubt and uncertainty when we are confronted with successful people online or in the real world. The irony is that people usually only post their best moments for the world to see. We very rarely get to see what struggles and obstacles people have to overcome to create their own image of themselves. When we try and become what we believe people around us want us to be, and not who we are, we become closed off and isolated. Kiki begins to isolate herself from the town she was not too long ago in love with. She feels no connection to the people around her, and most importantly, to herself. She blows off Tombo, telling him to never call her again, even though all she wants is genuine connection. Even when there are people in her life telling her she is smart, beautiful, amazing, it's not enough. She needs to feel it for herself. We can all be hard on ourselves, much like Kiki. When we isolate ourselves, our internal monologue can lead us down a path of hopelessness in the face of adversity. Some of us attempt to throw ourselves out completely and build ourselves from the ground up, when all we really need to do is continue to build upon who we already are. We are always striving to be the best versions of ourselves as fast as possible, so we can achieve the things only our best selves can. But that's not the way the world works. It's only when we accept that the world doesn't work this way that we are able to continue building ourselves into who we want to be, achieving what we thought only our best selves could accomplish along the way. The problem is that achieving these things takes time, hard work, sacrifice. Today, most things that were somewhat of a hassle not too long ago can be completed with relative ease. In a world where everything is at the click of a mouse or the tap of a screen, there is no easy guaranteed path to personal growth and success. Gone are the days where we would need to go to a bank to cash a check or deposit money. We can make friends and play games online, never having to leave the comfort of our own home. And in the spirit of Kiki, we can now have our groceries or food delivered right to our door without having to speak to anyone. I'm not saying that losing these things is inherently bad for society or for the people as a whole, but what I am saying is that even with all the modern day luxuries we have, there are still things in our lives that require our time and effort. Our blood, sweat, and tears. There will never be a phone app or a delivery service that can give us that. And when we are met with this roadblock in our lives, we can sometimes become depressed. Depression hits Kiki hard. When she loses her powers and can no longer talk to Gigi or fly, she blames herself. She can't even conceptualize that maybe what is happening to her is meant to happen. That even though the world can feel like a cold and unfair place at times, she can use this time to begin to draw upon why she is losing her powers, and why she feels this way to begin with. She is no longer connected to the person she used to be, so she must become the person she wants to be. Kiki doesn't realize that she is lucky. She is privileged in the fact that she has people around her that are available to help her, even when she's at her lowest. She doesn't have to figure it out all on her own, even when she feels like she does. Her internal conflict between wanting to be strong and independent, but also a vulnerable and loving person, makes life seem impossible. It's important to remember that these times in our own lives are necessary. It's this unfortunate circumstance of the human condition that makes us human. Through our faults and failures, we learn and we grow. It's through times of great struggle and isolation we are almost always at our most vulnerable. Being vulnerable and open is what leads us to change. When Kiki is going through her period of depression and isolation, she is changing. and changing hurts. When Kiki is at her absolute lowest, Ursula invites Kiki to her cabin in the woods for a break from the humdrum of modern life, something we all need from time to time, even when we don't realize it. Whether that's a simple walk around the block or a day-long trip into the woods, downtime is crucial for personal growth. It's important that we recognize these periods in our lives so that we can use them as times to reflect on what we want, who we are, and where we are going. Ursula tells Kiki that she went through the same thing when she was trying to become a better artist. She explains that it's hard to become the person you want to be. It takes time, commitment, spirit, and heart. It takes vulnerability to look inward at oneself to find who we are meant to be. But through suffering and time, we will find what we are looking for. Kiki takes this newfound advice to heart. It resonates with her as it likely does with everyone who hears it. Kiki realizes her ability to look inward and be herself completely, in the face of strangers and society as a whole, is something that is extraordinarily rare. That her authenticity, her true spirit and self, which radiates through everything that she does, is what makes her a truly talented and magical witch. It's no longer about what Kiki doesn't have or what Kiki wants. It's about who Kiki genuinely is. A funny, bright, talented young girl who loves and cares unconditionally. And within that realization, she understands that the idea alone is something truly magical and worth fighting for. It's through our goals we set for ourselves that we will experience our own growth. Even when we fail or can't measure up to who we think everyone wants us to be, we become closer to ourselves. After this realization, Kiki is now ready to face the world again, renewed with a stronger and more formidable outlook on life. Just as the waves continuously crash against the shores of Kuriko, Kiki must continue to soldier on. Be strong when the world around her seems to be closing in. It is at the end of the movie that we finally see the culmination of all of Kiki's efforts. She saves the day and becomes an icon not only for herself, but for everyone around her. What she knows now, though, is that she was always the icon she wanted to be. She just hadn't found her yet. It's not because she saves the day that she's able to find herself. It's because people love Kiki for who Kiki has always been. It turns out that Kiki's original ideal version of success, having a skill that she has mastered, making money to fund her hobbies and interests, and to be able to show off that skill she has mastered to the ones around her, is not what makes her truly happy, but being who she is destined to be every single day is. The reality is that success is not something that can be defined by society. It is something that we must set for ourselves. It needs to be personal and feel real, obtainable. Basing success on how much money we have, how many friends we have, or what type of material possessions we own is a recipe for burnout and disaster. Kiki learns that her version of success doesn't have to be what everyone else's idea of success is. It can be entirely her own. That is what makes her beautiful. At the end of the day, Kiki is a blueprint for who we all should strive to be. Altruistic, with no guarantee of getting anything in return. Strong and brave in the face of the unknown. And unabashedly our authentic selves. When we begin to appreciate and love what we have and who we are, instead of focusing on who we want to be, everything begins to fall into place. Kiki's unwavering spirit and embrace of her own journey should inspire everyone. We are never truly alone in life, even though sometimes we might feel like we are. In a world that can feel overwhelming and scary, be a Kiki and find your own magic that truly matters. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot that you made it all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video so I need to keep making videos just like this. Have a wonderful rest of your day.